Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking about 5 sports cards that I'm going to be looking for at the National in Atlantic City this year. We'll kind of dig into the whys and just get some feedback from you all. Stick around. Hello to all my sports card collectors, investors, all of my collectibles friends. How are we doing? It is another day, is another sports card collectibles video. Hope you all are doing amazingly well. If you're new here or you've been here for a little bit and you haven't decided to commit yet, please hit that big red button down below, the subscribe button. We're coming out with almost daily sports card collectibles videos, all sorts of things going on. And frankly, I know that your family is tired of hearing about it. So come here, hang out with us. Also connect with me on IG at SportsCardDad and Twitter, the SportsCardDad. All right, before I get started, I've got to thank the sponsor of this video, Card Shop Live. Guys, we have another giveaway over the next 2 weeks. If you enter in over the next 2 weeks, 2 people will win $50 each to spend on the Card Shop Live app. Definitely check it out. All the links will be in the comments section. I'll pin it, and then I'll also put it in the video description. All right, frankly, I am not going to go into the National with a ton of plans. That I think that's just not the way to do it, in my opinion, because there's just so much inventory there. There are going to be cards that pop up that you've never seen before. Stuff that has been, one thing I've noticed, this is something that's kind of interesting. I've noticed that there is some stuff coming out of the woodwork, stuff that I've been looking for in particular, actually other types of collectibles that I was like, man, I just cannot find these. I can't find these on eBay. I can't find them at shows, but now you know what's starting to happen. And it actually has happened with a couple different things. One, Masters of the Universe action figures still in the box from the 80s. That's stuff that I've been looking at. I picked up a couple of items here over the last couple of weeks. It's just something that it's from my childhood and I've added it in as part of my collectibles stuff. But I've noticed the same thing in sports cards too. There are certain cards where it's like, man, it feels like it's rare, but now all of a sudden they're starting to come out. They're starting to come out for sale. And I have seen, with different types of economic worries and recession, blah, blah, blah. I did see an article that was like, sell your collectibles. It was part of like a newscast. I think I saw it on IG. Somebody had posted it, but somebody was basically giving advice of like, sell all your collectibles now. So maybe that is something that is going to happen. People are just like, you know what? I'm getting rid of this. Not even just cards, but whether it be comics, action figures, whatever the thing is, they got to get rid of them. So this National will be really interesting in that regard, just in what type of inventory are we going to see there? Is it going to be a lot of vintage like usual? Will there be some vintage that pops out that maybe you don't see very often? Or will there be other things as well, other modern, ultra modern, 80s stuff you don't normally see that will show up at that show? So I'm really kind of curious, but I have pinpointed 5 cards that I'm looking for. And really, if I could come home with one of these cards, I would be really, really happy. I am going to bring some cards for kind of some trade bait. And these are cards that I don't need to get out of. I like them. One of them actually is a Russell Wilson. It's a pretty rare. There's 35 of them. It's a certain like the black ink acetate Russell Wilson rookie card. I think that just with football season coming up, there's going to be a lot of excitement just around the Broncos, Russell Wilson. There's a lot of big collectors of him. And I'm curious to see if there might be something that someone else has. They might like this card. It's a really, really cool card. It's a BGS grade 9.5. with a 10 auto, and it's just one of those cards. It's acetate. It's not an easy grade at all. And so I think it could be of interest to people. So I'm going to bring that. I'm going to bring a few other things, not a ton of things. I'm not bringing a huge case or anything, but maybe 10 cards or something just to see what happens. Plus, it's just fun to have something at trade night. Even if nothing comes of it, just kind of fun to go to a trade night and have something. So the first card on the list is one that I've talked about in previous videos, actually a few different videos. It's been on the target list for a while. I know we've been talking a lot about the 84 Star 101 versus the 86 Fleer Michael Jordan card. And I kind of I go back and forth with it. I can see arguments on both sides, but there's one card in particular that I've been looking for. And I love the star cards. I love that iconic 86 Fleer, but the one that's actually in my range in a higher grade, in a high grade, would be the sticker, the 86 Fleer sticker. And I'm really looking for this in a BGS 8.5 with some solid subgrades. So ideally no 8 subgrades. I missed out on one about 6 months ago where it had 8.5 subgrades all the way, and it also had a 9, or maybe it was even a 9.5 for one of them. It was a beautiful card, and it sold out from under me. And that's kind of at the top, very, very top of my price range too. I'm not a heavy hitter where I'm spending 10, 15, 20,000, $1 million on cards. This is about a $2,000 card right now. Anywhere from, I would say, like $1,700 to $2,200 in an 8.5. It just depends on the look of it though. This is not a rare card. That 86 Fleer Jordan sticker, not rare at all. But once you start getting into the higher grades, it gets a little bit interesting. And so, I'd like to just own one. That would be kind of the Jordan rookie sticker that I can actually afford. And I think at some point I'll probably get an 86 Fleer Jordan in one of the middle tier grades once they kind of come back down to earth a little bit more. Next on my list, kind of a surprising one for me, because if you know me, I collect a lot of Hall of Fame autos, I collect a lot of vintage, and I collect a lot of 80s type stuff. There's one particular NBA prospect that I just really enjoy watching. And look, there's a few of these guys that I've bought into. I've got some Jason Tatum, I've got some Devin Booker, but the team I root for when it comes down to it, when I'm pulling for a particular team in the NBA, it's the Mavericks and Luka.
Doncic against LeBron. Overplay to one side. Doncic goes left, fades, connect.
So one card, I mentioned this in another video as well, I'm paying attention to the price, but you know what? So are a lot of people. It's the Luka Silver Prism PSA 10. And this is one where we're seeing Jason Tatum Silver Prism starting to really kind of come down. You're starting to see those Silver Prisms come down, whereas, that Luka Silver Prism in a 10 at one point was an $8,000 card. Now it's like a $2,000 card. There was one, I think, that might have gone for $1,500. So depending on the price point, if I could get into some sort of a deal for a Luka Silver PSA 10, I do have a few of his rookies. I probably have a dozen, maybe, of his rookies. Nothing special though, nothing crazy. There's no national treasures. There's no Lulu autos, none of that stuff. But this would be one I just want to have in my collection, just hold on to it, because I still do think that Silver Prism will be one that's always wanted. As far as pricing and everything goes, obviously I don't know where the pricing will go, but I just feel like that's a card that's always going to be fairly popular. 5 years, 10 years, 20 years down the road, assuming Luka continues on the trajectory, has a good career, etc. Of course, he's a young guy. He's out of the prospect zone to where he is the number one guy on his team. He's not a number 2 or a 3 that you might be reaching on. This guy he's a superstar. We just don't know what kind of career he'll have. Will he win a title? Will he win 5? We don't really know. So, but there's all sorts of interest. And so that would be one where it's like, that's a speculative guy, that not a proven Hall of Famer. He's got a bright future ahead of him. But he's one of just a few of these guys in the NBA that I would like to get kind of a nice card. So that Silver Prism PSA 10 is one I'll be looking for. And it's not super rare either. In a PSA 10, there's about 2,100 or so of these, I believe, if I'm looking at the pop report right. So it's not as if there's 50 of them, 100 of them. They're out there. So, but one I would like to add to my collection. All right, I'm going to my big PC guy. It's my big PC guy. It's Drew Brees. I'm a huge New Orleans Saints fan. Drew Brees, the best New Orleans Saint that's ever played. And I've always wanted to have a Topps Chrome refractor rookie for him. And just being that, he's not Peyton Manning, he's not Tom Brady, he doesn't have that same sort of hobby love. There's actually pretty decent pricing on a lot of Brees stuff. This stuff did get very expensive, but this 9 in particular is numbered out of 999, which I like. And the pricing has come down on it. You're seeing comps kind of in that $1,500 to $2,000 range. And you'll see with most of the cards I'm talking about here, that's really kind of the sweet spot. $1,500 to $2,000. For me, that's a huge card. That's a big investment for me for one particular card. My sweet spot is really kind of in the $100 to $500 range, and that's really where I live for the most part. I like to collect a lot of different things, so that price point allows me into all sorts of different stuff. So the Brees rookie, I feel like this would be kind of the big rookie card to own for me, to kind of hold on to long term. And it's just a nice card. Those Topps Chrome refractors, and it's it's numbered. I love the fact that it's numbered out of 999. There's not 50 of them, but there's not a ton of them either. So I'd like to add one of those at some point. We'll see if I run into some sort of a deal at the National. Next, another card that I have talked about previously. I want it, guys. It's a 57 Topps Bart Starr rookie card. I've got two Johnny Unitas rookie cards from the same set, and I would like a Bart Starr and a PSA 6. Now, here's the thing with vintage, as we talk about, the price points are all over the place because it's all going to depend on eye appeal. You can have, honestly, I've seen 6s that look like 4s. I've seen 4s that look like 6s and blah, blah, blah in between. It really depends. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder when it comes to vintage cards. Centering is always a huge issue. What does the coloring look like on it? Is it faded? There's so much to take into account. So, if I could find a 6, which again, there's not huge populations of these out there. It's from the 50s. There's not massive populations, but then you've got to find one that just looks great. I wouldn't mind a 5, even a 4, but I think that I would rather wait though. It would have to be a great looking 4. I would really like a 5 or a 6. Great looking 5 or a 6 is kind of what I'm looking at. And this is, again, in a 6, these go anywhere from $2,000 to $2,500. So at a 5, a little bit less, maybe $1,500 to $2,000. But again, it just all depends on how it looks. Bart Starr, obviously being legendary Packers quarterback, Super Bowl winner. I would just like to add that one to the vintage collection for football. Last one might surprise some people because I'm not a big baseball card collector, but as I've kind of studied a little bit more of some of these kind of semi-old timer, because this guy is not he's not coming from Mickey Mantle, Babe Ruth's time period. It's Ricky Henderson.
The homer dome. That's hit to deep left field. Henderson back to the wall. Ricky leaps and makes the catch and takes a home run away from Cal Ripken.
I really, really like looking at his career as a whole. This guy loved the game, played it very well, holds a lot of records, and I just think that he's just a guy that, just kind of gets forgotten about. And his 80 Topps rookie card, fairly common if you're looking at, PSA 7, PSA 8. PSA 9, though, is really where I'm looking. PSA 9 is in that $1,500 to $1,800 range. It's not mega scarce. The card itself is not. They produced a ton of it, but once you get into those higher grades, the 9 and especially the 10, you're talking massive money, but the 9 is just a really sweet find. And I just really like the look of his rookie card. That 80 Topps rookie, it's just a great card. It's an iconic card to me. And so that would be one. It's not, a lot of people would not consider that vintage. As we get older though, 1980 is 42 years ago, 43. I was born in 81. So these are starting to get older. But that's one that I would like to add. There's a lot of cards that I would like. And like I said, I've collected a lot of Hall of Fame autos. So I'm always kind of sucked in when I see a cool auto or patch of a great all-time player. But what I'm going to try to really focus on here at the National, though, is rookie cards for particular players, important players that I've, like these, the ones that I've pointed out. There's a lot of patch auto. There's a lot of Hall of Fame auto options out there in my price range, and I want to try to stretch a little bit. If I came home with one of these cards and that's it, fantastic. I feel like that would be a victory. I would be very happy with that. So I'm curious to see what I run into. If I can nab 2 of these, that would be unbelievable. I don't think that's going to happen, but you never know. This is what dreams are made of, right, guys? It's what dreams are made of. All right. Well, thanks very much for joining me here today. Don't forget to enter the Card Shop Live giveaway. There's links to download the app below and also just kind of more information about it. It's $50 to 2 winners that'll be announced in 2 weeks. They will give it away in 2 weeks. So make sure that you sign up for that. Oh, and before I forget, we are going to have Jeff Wilson of Sports Card Investor. You might have heard of him. He is going to be on Off Centered on Wednesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, and that's on Brad, the Comeback Card Investors channel. Looking forward to having Jeff back on, kind of hearing what's new in his world. He's been all over Southern California, looking at different collections. What's new with market movers? There's a lot of things going on in his world, so we'll talk to him and get to the bottom of it. All right, guys, stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.